Yesterday afternoon, my 3-year-old son Gappa, he came to me with some clay pieces and he told me, Papa, I have killed the pigeon and chopped it. And then he went on to add, Papa, pigeons are bad. And this left me very sad and strangely a little relieved. And it turned out that what he said had something to do with what I had told him some days earlier. So basically, Gappa loves birds, like he loves animals and he loves insects. And that's also because he's not still addicted to phone screens, because of which he finds his joy in these kind of things. And here at our Bangalore home, we find a lot of opportunity to watch birds. All kinds of birds: eagles, parrots, mynas, and some other other birds whose names I don't know. But from a terrace in Bangalore, it's a nice, beautiful terrace, and from here we watch all kinds of birds. And I actually encourage it. Gappa enjoys it. He's very curious about them, and I encourage it. But this curiosity, it took a little different turn, a little worrisome turn a few weeks ago when I started noticing Gappa looking through the iron mesh of a building's shaft. So in the shaft, there are some pigeons who have nestled themselves. Despite all attempts by the building RWA people to keep pigeons out, pigeons have still made parts of the building their homes. And Gappa was watching that, and it started worrying me a little bit, because pigeons are known to cause respiratory illnesses, and they are dangerous. They are dangerous for our health. They are bad for our health, and I knew of this. But since Gappa was watching the pigeons from a distance, I did not, want to go and tell him anything. I did not want to kill his love for nature, his love for birds. But the situation got worse a few days ago when we noticed some baby pigeons in a nest on a ledge outside one of our balconies. So our balcony is actually covered with these pigeon nets, but this ledge was beyond our control. It's actually part of the common area, and on that was a nest in which there were some baby pigeons, and we saw that, and somehow even Gappa saw that, and then he got attracted towards it. And every now and then he would want to go there, he'd want to sit over there. Sometimes when we were not looking, he would land up over there and would start watching the baby pigeons from close quarters. And this was the point where I had to make a choice between Gappa's curiosity and love for birds and his health. But I struggled with the how. How do you explain to a 3-year-old child that birds that visit our terrace, they are good, they are nice, but pigeons, also kind of birds, they are bad? How do you explain that to a 3-year-old child? Or how do you explain health hazard to a 3-year-old child who sees the world in only good and bad? But since I didn't want to poison his love for birds and his love for nature, I restrained myself for a while. I would just keep taking him away from that place. But I realized that pigeons are all around us in our Bangalore home. Pigeons are all around, and despite best efforts, you cannot just totally get rid of them. Our terrace is a large terrace. It's not a covered terrace. It's not practically possible to keep nets all around the terrace. And Gappa and I, we spent quite some time on a terrace. And pigeons are a frequent visitors, and Gappa keeps getting attracted to them. He keeps running towards them, and that is something I wanted to rid him of. Finally, I tried a shortcut. I tried to explain to Gappa that pigeons, getting close to pigeons makes him not strong. That's the language he understands. Not strong means something that does bad to his body, bad to his health. So he understands that. But it was easier said than done. He bombarded me with all kinds of questions. Why only pigeons are bad? Why not other birds? How do you satisfy these curiosities? I didn't really have the ability to explain the nuance to him. The nuance that that even pigeons are nice, but they causes health hazard and all that. I didn't have that ability, uh, or maybe I didn't try enough. Okay, I didn't try enough. Maybe I could have found some other ways, but I went for a shortcut. After that, I went for a real shortcut, a blunt shortcut, in which I simply very plainly explained to him that pigeons are bad. Okay, now that enters his mind very clearly. Okay, good and bad, he knows it very clearly. Okay, pigeons are bad, and I kept repeating it. I repeated it day after day after day until I think it settled into his mind. I was just happy that Gappa had understood that pigeons are bad, even if it meant that for the next few years he sees all birds as bad. That was a risk, that was a genuine danger of the way I had conveyed things to him. But I thought at least he would stay away from pigeons, even if it meant he would stay away from all kinds of birds. And then yesterday the clay thing happened. Okay. And I realized that this was the consequence of my shortcut. Gappa was not being violent in his mind. Okay, in his mind he saw pigeons as bad. Bad means they are our enemy, and if they are enemy, they should not exist or they should be killed. And I think he derived it from the stories I share with him at night, the stories I tell him, the dinosaur stories, which unfortunately I think I'm getting it a little wrong. The way I'm telling him stories, I think I'm doing it a little wrongly. But the stories revolve around good dinosaurs, bad dinosaurs, they're fighting with each other, and the good dinosaurs killing the bad dinosaurs. So that entered his mind, that if pigeons are bad, they have to be killed. I wish I had not fed this to him. I wish I had found some other way, a better way. uh, and particularly to a child, hating on a pigeon, a child who loves birds, and hating on a pigeon, it makes me very sad. And at the same time, I'm a little relieved. I'm happy that he's going to stay away from pigeons. That threat, that genuine threat, that genuine danger of so many pigeons being around and Gappa being around them, their droppings, their dust and all that, that will not happen now. He is unlikely to go and stand near the mesh anymore, because I have understood that he sees pigeons as bad. He's not going to go near those pigeon babies, and he's going to stay away overall. So, this scare tactics, it seems to have worked, but it has come at a cost. I wish I could have done it differently, but this is it.